Hello everyone and welcome back to another AFK Journey video. In this video, we are on Now's account from Vietnam server 2. He actually did recruit for the twins. I didn't know if he did or not, but we have a Dream Realm replay. The overall top team for ORSON today is using Elijah and Lila. I'm going to show you guys that. And then we're also going to show how these heroes are good in AFK stages. So if you guys watched the earlier video I uploaded, I said don't recruit for Elijah and Lila yet. It didn't mean, and I didn't say that they were bad heroes. I think they are going to be good heroes, but that was basically advice, and I still hold to that advice, which is that we're getting 3 Celestial Hypogeans this season. Even if the twins look really good, I think you should wait for at least the skill in for one more hero before actually deciding to go all in on them. And this is for free to play or like lower spender players. For higher spenders who want to build up all Celestial Hypogeans, then definitely go for the twins. They're looking really good for pre-endless Dream Realm bosses right now, and they are overall solid heroes. Okay, the first thing I want to mention is their charm bonus, which is actually really good. It will grant attack to an ally who they are healing or shielding. And all of the allies who are within the stellar bond of Elijah and Lila, they will be periodically healing with the active cast of Stellar Bond. And the other thing is that if the enemies or allies are over 80% health, they're going to gain additional haste once you get the legendary or even mythic quality of the charm bonus. But this attack boost is really good because these twins are looking good for Dream Realm, so you definitely want an offensive option for the charm bonus for Dream Realm, and boosting the attack of the allies for their healing or shielding is going to be good for that. Now the thing is, they don't have team-wide heals. They do have a shield that can go off an ally from the Stellar Bond, like basically the ally who has the most adjacent enemies, Cosmic Protection, can go for a shield onto that to give that attack buff. But for the most part, a lot of this buff is going to be onto the allies who they Stellar Bond, which are probably going to be your key damage dealer carries, because that is like the lineup. You want to give your key damage dealer carry the Stellar Bond, and they'll also be getting the advantage of this buff from the charm. So they have basically very good charms for a Dream Realm where you need more damage output. For PvP, I mean, these are fine. But honestly speaking, I will talk a bit about PvP, but let's just first of all go to the Dream Realm. So he has managed to get almost 9 billion score, and he's running the overall top team formation, which I'm going to show you. And when we compare it to the other people in his server, they do have a higher score than him, but I'm pretty sure they're running the same team, and it's just the Paragon difference between, for example, Wilson has all Paragon 4 heroes, and so, but we got very close to that. Wilson got 9.4 billion, and we got 8.9 billion. Which is an amazing score. But the team which is being run has a lot of RNG. If you take a look at the runs he's done with the same team, it is range even down from 2.5 billion all the way up to his almost 9 billion score. So we're going to take a look at this replay, but this is the team formation. Lenya is going to be the only hero Stellar Bonded, because then you have heroes of the same faction under Stellar Bond, which is also important for like boosting the recovery of the energy of Lenya, for example. Rainier is going to increase the damage that the boss receives. We can go right into the match, and then we can just discuss it further. So Rainier is still very dominant for pre-endless Dream Realm bosses, so if you have Rainier at Mythic Plus, that is really good for you. But it is only really the endless bosses where Rainier is not going to be as good. So there we go, 10 seconds into the match, we're going to get the first ultimate cast of Elijah and Lila, and now from this point on, they're probably just going to be able to cycle and maintain the maximum haste buff for the allies, which is really strong. So here we have Lenya. Okay, now watch this. Lenya, I think, has casted her ultimate. The twins have casted too. Now they're going to gain the energy refund amount, but it is only to themselves. Like if you watch really closely here, when the twins are about to cast their ultimate, watch the energy right here. It said 172 boosted energy, and that is from that refund. And if we take a look at Lenya when she cast her ultimate, there we go, 172 boosted energy. The 52 boost was from the Stellar Bond, basically bouncing back and forth. But this refund is going to be each subsequent ultimate cast for the heroes linked by the Stellar Bond, which here are only Lenya and Elijah and Lila, and they will refund the energy only to themselves when they themselves cast. So that is basically the mechanics of it and how it works. Sometimes, like the energy refund, it pops up on the other hero's head, like it isn't always over Elijah's head, sometimes it's over Lila's head, so that's why you might not see it, but there we saw it 172 over the Elijah's head right there. So that is how those mechanics are going to work. But watch Lenya here, she's dealing a lot of damage. She's also getting the charm bonus of Rainier, which converts 25% of Lenya's damage into true damage at the elite version of the charms. And then you have Mikola, Sonya also buffing up Lenya even further and also buffing up Mikola. The reason why this is a high RNG fight is the Orson hits really hard. When you move on to like a higher difficulty level than what you should be attempting for that day, which is basically the elite difficulty of this boss, then your team almost always dies. However, with this team setup, if things go perfectly, you can keep everyone alive. And that is what manages to happen here. The artifact is the snowman spell, which I would not... Normally, this is not a good artifact for Dream On because it only has one offensive stat. It summons like a snowman to be like a punching bag and taunt nearby enemies. I think the reason it's used in this boss is because, like we said, you're having difficulty surviving. So having another punching bag that can take some of the boss's damage is more beneficial than running any other artifact. It could also be because this artifact has true defensive stats, right? And so that is going to allow your team to survive a bit better. I think both are probably the reasons. So here you go. Lenya ended up dealing a huge amount of damage. And like Lenya was not really the... Lenya is good because she also stuns the boss to reduce the fury stacks that he has to increase your damage output. But I think Elsa could also work. But definitely Lenya is better for pre-endless. And yeah, so that was amazing. And really, like, no other team, like team without the twins cannot even come close to this to be able to compete with this for the pre-endless, like this level of difficulty we have right now. So that is the thing. But still, I think it is important to be patient with these heroes because there are going to be other next best options like Mikola in place of the twins, for example. The thing in Supreme Arena, I'm not able to actually attack because all the people who are ranked higher than us, they are all full Paragon 4 teams on all 3 of their Supreme Arena defenses. So if I attack them with the Supreme plus Elijah and Lila, it won't do it justice. It won't actually show their true potential. And right now, he now has changed up his third defense to include Elijah and Lila with the Light Bearers. This was a comp which was run on the Pioneer server a lot, like Rowan, Hugin, because the potions from Rowan and then the shielding from Hugin, it gives the survivability this team needs, and also the energy that the team needs to cast their ultimate. And once, for example, Sonya and the twins have casted their ultimate, it's very difficult for the opponent to do anything to you. And hopefully Hugin and Rowan are able to keep your team alive in the early stage to get your ultimate cast. So this is a cool looking team, definitely strong. I wanted to see how it would do. However, no one has attacked him since 1 day ago when the twins didn't even exist. So that is kind of the problem. Okay, but that is going to be it for like PvP and Dream Realm. Now we're going to take a look at the talent stages of AFK Stages. So in the talent trials, there have been quite a few formations using the twins. Here, for example, we have a Light Bearer team, which I want to see because you get to summon Hogan at the beginning of the match. Let's see what can happen here. And Odie on the buff tile, the Prime Carrier buff tile. Okay, let's see it and put on auto. So you get the Hogan at the beginning of the match. He stuns the enemies. Lila does go up front and she is at risk of dying, but Hugin is going to give them the shield. So it's looking like Hugin is actually going to be pretty important as well, along with the twins. Like there's a lot of synergy there between Hugin and the twins for AFK stages and even like PvP, that lineup you saw. However, in my opinion, I definitely see the twins more as AFK stage and Dream Realm heroes, PvE focused content. I do not, honestly, I feel like they're not going to be the most game changing for PvP. I think they can be fine, but I think it's a little bit difficult to make them work in different PvP comps. And also, the thing is, if you have other heroes like main faction heroes upgraded in the Paragon tiers, they might just be better just to give your team more inspiration and intimidation. However, in my opinion, basically, I would say do not upgrade these twins past Supreme Plus. I think Supreme Plus is very important for the first round of Paragon rivalry stats, but more importantly for the Supreme Plus ability of the twins. It's a really strong ability to boost the damage output of your heroes linked by the Stellar Bond. But I think Supreme Plus is all you need. Going up the Paragon tiers already for Celestial Hypogeans is now even less value. Because like you're gaining less rivalry stats per level compared to before. But you are gaining inspiration and intimidation as well. So overall it is kind of the same. But basically, that is my advice. And also, the thing about the twins, when you look at their damage contribution in Dream Realm, they themselves don't do any damage pretty much. It is just about their buffs to the allies who they are buffing. And here another team comp with the twins in Wilders, so this is also working. So yeah, I mean, this is looking really good for them. But yeah, the thing that I wanted to mention is that their damage output is low in Dream Realm, so Paragon Ascending them is hardly going to improve your Dream Realm score. Though normally, like for example, people who want to max out their Dream Realm score and their high spenders, they go for like Smoky Paragon upgrade because he has meaningful damage output. So when you upgrade his attack, it is going to increase his damage by a bit. However, if you Paragon upgrade the twins who have hardly any damage themselves, they hardly deal any damage to bosses. We can even take a look again at the damage chart, but I think it would be almost meaningless damage from the twins, so they do not need to be Paragon Ascended, so that's a good thing. And what I'm going to do, so on the high spender account, of course, we're going to show the top Dream Realm teams when they come out, because the new season is starting tomorrow, and I'm sure a lot of them will be using the twins, so I have to go for the twins on that account. I've saved up Stellar Crystals in order to do that, but I'm not going to, definitely not take them into Paragon tiers. I do not think it's worth it, and I'm mainly using them as Dream Realm support hero rather than PvP, but even if you want to use them in PvP, Supreme Plus will be enough. So I do not recommend Paragon upgrading them. There's still 2 more Celestial Hypogean heroes to go. Wait for those ones. Yeah. Okay, so this is also a really solid comp. The twins are looking very dominant for AFK stages. However, you guys know that the drawback, or like kind of the issue with that, is that they are not needed. Like AFK stage pushing is not that valuable anymore, because if you look at the maximum like limit, we are already way above the limit. Tomorrow the limit will be 675. We're at 702 today, and so you don't need to have like the top tier AFK stage pushing heroes in order to be like as competitive as possible. So there's a little bit of less use of AFK stage pushing heroes than in the previous season, for example. But anyway, overall the twins are good. So like, don't get me wrong, what I said in my previous video, which is that don't recruit for the twins yet, I fully stand behind that. I think for most players, if you're not going to be dropping a lot of money on the Stellar Crystal like pop-ups and things, you're just not going to have the resources to build multiple Celestial Hypogeans and Supreme Plus in this season. And then it's important for you to wait and see what are the kits of the other heroes coming out. Because it could be even more game changing and more important for your account than the twins. But overall, the twins are a solid hero. They're definitely not Dunlinger. They're not Burial. They're not like a hero which you can skip. And they are close to must-pull status, even still. Despite the slight reduction into the buffs that were on the Pioneer server, I still think they are close to must-pull status. And now is really the thing about Harak versus the twins. If you haven't gone for Harak yet, I would really try to get by without building Harak, because the twins seem like they're going to be more future-proof. The issue with Harak, first of all, he eats your own allies. Number 2, if there becomes a harder hitting hyper carry for Dream Realm, which I'm sure eventually is going to happen, Harak is going to be completely useless. Like, Harak is only useful because he is the hardest hitting hyper carry in the game right now. But the thing is, as soon as there's one hero that does better than him, he's going to be completely useless, because already in PvP, he is underused. Honestly speaking, he has issues of survivability, and he needs kills to get going. And in Dream Realm, he is dominant in certain bosses, but as soon as there's a harder hitting hyper carry than him, he is not going to be useful there either, and he's going to be completely redundant. So I really think Harak is going to be a hero which doesn't have that much future proofing. However, Elijah and Lila, I do think, are quite future-proof. So as of right now, if you had to choose between the two of them, I would probably go for the twins, to be honest. But it is up to debate. And also, it depends on what is going to come first. A more powerful Celestial Hypogean support, or a more powerful hyper carry for Dream Realm. Which is going to come first? That is going to kind of decide which is going to be strong. But I mean, if a new support comes out, I think you'll just be using the twins and that new support, and like Mikola will be phased out, for example. Or yeah. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. That's going to be it for this video. You guys can share your thoughts on all of this in the comment section, because there's a lot to talk about. Also, if you want to talk to me more, ask me any specific questions, you can join my AFK Journey Discord server. There's a link to that in the description of this video, and I respond very frequently over there. So I look forward to seeing you in the Discord, or seeing you in the next video. But thanks for watching, guys. That is going to be it for this video, and until then, in the next video, everyone, peace out for now.